welcome back to Trails of Cold Steel 3. When last we left off, we had played Vantage Masters against the Jaeger King. Now we're here to investigate the train. And if you're wondering why that last video was kind of a short one, well, A, because we know there's going to be a lot of cutscenes, and B, I mean, well, let's just face it, there's going to be a lot of cutscenes, and I was tired.
I didn't know that happened. Yeah, you and George really saved my bacon that time. Is that Reen I sense lurking out there?
Oh? Why don't you come in, silly?
And we got a character note added for Angelica for that. I was kind of worried about that because when I initially was looking through like the different characters, it gave me the no self-restraint one first, so that one was the road trip one. I was concerned about that. On to car 3. Talk to Sarah. And she's still a drinker.
It's Spiritus, liquor from Northumbria. Said to be the strongest drink in the world. Guess it's kind of hard to get much stronger than 96% though, huh?
Jesus, 96?
Right? I knew you'd be able to appreciate it. Never thought the day'd come when I'd get to talk with you over drinks like this. That new Class 7 of yours? They're a good bunch of kids. They're all pretty unique kids, just like you guys were. But I know things will work out for you. I mean, come on. They were all so worried about you, they ran headlong after you.
I've never understood the appeal of alcohol.
You already knew, didn't you? Who those purple Jaegers are. That's so. Guess I've still got a ways to go myself in that case. That's a nice little scenario, Reen. But you know it's a load of bull, don't you? The annexation of Northumbria was done under the Imperial government's orders. Way I hear it, General Le Guin agreed to take the place over to keep the provincial armies from being disbanded. The outcome was decided from the start. In the middle of that farce of a war, you managed to save the lives of tens of thousands of citizens. And the Jaegers you met today? I think they know that. But maybe it was impossible from the start, fixing a country already being destroyed from within by Jaegers. You probably knew that too. Whoopsie. Well, you see, he was... He was my first love. Well, actually, he was the closest thing I had to a dad. Way back during the Northumbrian disaster, when the salt pail covered so much of the principality in a storm of salt, a man took in an orphaned infant. He was a former colonel in the army, and one of the people who founded the Northern Jaegers. As soon as I was old enough to understand anything, I knew that Jaegers who came back with foreign currency were considered heroes. The man who raised me was one of the leaders of the Northern Jaegers, the heroes of our homeland. I looked up to my dad more than anyone. Wanting to be just like him, I joined a juvenile Jaeger Corps at the age of 10. After a few years of harsh training, I was admitted to the main corps at the tender age of 13. It was there that I experienced my first real battle. It was hell. A field of death, where lives are tossed aside to satisfy someone else's desires. There I lived, smoke and blood painted across my body. And there I stayed, eventually becoming the Jaeger known as the Purple Lightning. But after a while, it reached a point where I couldn't take it anymore. When I was 18, I was assigned command of a squad. We had a mission near Erebonia, fighting some proxy war on behalf of the nobles. The enemy was Needhogg. My squad was destroying them, but just when we thought victory was ours, our efforts to avoid dragging any civilians into the fight left us open to a counterattack. We got hit hard. And then my dad showed up and saved me. Even though he was serving as the commander for the entire corps, he came to our rescue and suffered a fatal injury for it.
Do you see now? This is the fate of all Jaegers. You must think long and hard on whether you wish to continue down this path.
It could have been because he was once part of the Principality's army, but he was quite the gentleman. Now that I think back, he never seemed to like the fact that I became a Jaeger. Anyway, he left me with those final words and passed away in my arms. I screamed and screamed until my voice gave out, until I passed out from utter exhaustion. When I woke up, I was in an Imperial Army camp. Yeah, apparently they were there to check on the damage caused by all the Jaegers fighting. Neidhart and Mueller-Vander, who were both second lieutenants back then, were there too. They told me the battle had been over for a while, and all my comrades had already packed up and left for home. Hadn't even thanked them before rushing back to my hometown. And what greeted me when I got there were celebrations and congratulations from my friends and the townsfolk. We had lost my father, but we won the war we were hired for. The nobles had given us an enormous pile of Mira. That meant we wouldn't die of starvation during the coming winter. I was relieved, but my tears just wouldn't stop. In order to save my hometown from poverty, I covered myself in the smoke of war and the blood of innocents in foreign lands. Seeing the smiles on the faces of everyone in town and knowing the cost cut me deep. It was right then that I decided to quit being a Jaeger and leave my hometown. I joined up with the Bracer Guild, knowing I could put my combat skills to work and make some decent Mira if I hit A rank. That way I could send some money back home. Money that wasn't stained with blood. I'm not strong or kind, but I think I've finally started to get closer. Little by little. Closer to being like the man I admired so much. My dad. My commander. And my first love. Yeah? No getting around the fact that I've got myself the daddy of all father complexes. But you know, lately I found myself attracted to some younger guys. You got me talking too much. You don't watch yourself, you could make a real dangerous womanizer. Well, with that, I bid you good night and sweet dreams.
Yeah, let's go with Tricked by Fairies.
That thing I showed you is called Zector. Sorry, that's the most I'm gonna say on that one.
So Zector was a divine knight. Very interesting. Let's see. Let's go back to card 2.
Why are you...
Something like that.
Hmm. Yeah, let's go outside and check.
That's enough, Claire. Though you have the Chancellor's protection, your actions today are only going to come back to bite you.
You don't understand, Michael. Show
Who's
yourself.
there?
Michael Major Irving is my cousin. He was born Michael Revelt. We were, once. But 10 years ago, he took his mother's surname and abandoned the name Revelt. It was after I had the man who took my family away executed. That man was my uncle. His father. Perhaps you're familiar with the Revelt Company? They're known for making musical instruments. Well, they were originally located in St. Arc. My father was the president, and my uncle the vice president. The company was doing well, But more importantly, our family was happy. Until an horrible car accident. There weren't many of them on the roads back then. A stolen truck crashed into us. Then its driver disappeared into the night. In the end, they never found him. It became a cold case. My parents and my little brother died in that accident. But by some miracle, I survived, and my uncle's family took me in. After my father's death, my uncle took control of the company. Though I was grateful to him for taking me in, I couldn't help but ask myself, why was I the only one to survive? Soon after that, while looking through my father's things, I found the account books. Flipping through them, I noticed something. The Revelt Company prided itself on offering high-quality, carefully crafted instruments at an affordable price, but certain entries showed unbelievable spikes in profits. I had a feeling something was wrong, so I looked a little deeper. Each account book I read put things in starker relief. At last, I realized what my uncle had been doing right under my father's nose. He was making a fortune selling cheap, mass-produced instruments from abroad under the Revelt Company name. He even had the gall to commission a product he could sell as Maestro Class to scam people out of even more money. I knew Father must have noticed his brother's wrongdoing and planned to question him. But before he could, the accident took his life.
Doesn't sound like an
When I
accident to me.
confronted my uncle about this, he was surprisingly candid. You've got no proof. And if you did have any, I've got several powerful nobles ready to back me up should it come to that. Even if you talk, the most suspicious part of that accident is that you're the lone survivor. Good luck getting anyone to listen to you. I was angry, yes. But more than that, I was heartbroken. I didn't know what to do with myself. Until he showed up.
I was a friend of your father's in military school. I thought the accident seemed peculiar. Do forgive me for allowing you to suffer for so long on your own.
Somehow, he knew the truth behind the accident, but the fact that I knew took him aback for a moment. Until he said,
You have a gift. Enhanced cognition. It allows you to grasp every detail, great or small, of any given situation in an instant. It must have awakened during the accident. I was going to mete out the murderer's punishment myself, but I've changed my mind. You have the means and the ability. Why not use them to avenge your family?
I was petrified when I heard this, lost. All I could see were the smiling faces of my parents and my beloved little brother. That's when I decided to take His Excellency's advice. I gathered every last scrap of evidence I could find against my uncle. I laid everything bare. The plot, the motive, the cover-up, the perpetrator. I had too much evidence to be silenced. I made my voice louder and louder until it reached Marquis Higharm's ears. Soon after, the nobles protecting my uncle stepped aside. My uncle's judgment was swift, harsh, and fair. He was put to death for his actions. I had my revenge. But it came at a price. I lost my family and my hometown. As soon as the company was in my control, I gave the rights to a longtime employee. All so I could enroll in the military academy suggested by His Excellency. All so I could enroll in Thors.
Well, we're just learning about everybody today, ain't we?
You're right. It was sheer coincidence that we both joined the RMP, but he's always looked out for me, both as a superior officer and as a colleague. Not that I've ever felt like I deserved it. I gave in to my desire for vengeance and mercilessly sent my own uncle to his death. 10 years ago, my aunt and my cousins cursed my name as I robbed them of the man they loved. I imagine they must still hate me for what I did. Rain. Oh, you really are too kind. To be perfectly honest, you remind me of my brother. Emil. His name was Emil.
I'll give you a hint. He's somewhat alive, but in a very different game.
If he were alive, I think he'd be about your age.
Well, he's just getting all the kisses today, isn't he?
Thank you for hearing me out. But I think tonight is the last time I'll compare you to my brother. It's disrespectful. Both to him and to the man you've become. Good night, Rain. Sweet dreams.
Reen, you dog.
This
All
is
right.
truly an honor.
38 AP, that's what we were going for.
Here, a reward.
And I am going to call it here. When we return, we continue on with the story. Until then, I'm Zero Kai X, and we'll see you in the next one.